Bctv local and African news summary for Monday, October 6th. The Liberian Bank for Development and Investment, the LBDI, has been fined 18.5 million Liberian dollars for failing to meet anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing standards. Reports say Liberia's telecom regulator is reviewing licenses to allow new satellite internet providers, including Amazon's Project Kuiper, into the local market. Anglican women bishops across Africa are celebrating the historic appointment of the Reverend Sarah Molale as the first woman Archbishop-elect of Canterbury. The Financial Intelligence Agency, the FIA, has fined the Liberian Bank for Development and Investment 18.5 million Liberian dollars for failing to meet anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing standards. The fine follows a December 2024 compliance inspection that uncovered weak controls, poor board oversight, failure to monitor risk, and unreported suspicious transactions. The LBDI has 10 working days to pay the fine and must submit an action plan to the FIA by October 20th, with full corrective measures in place by December 1, 2025. Liberia's telecom regulator is reviewing licenses to allow new satellite internet providers, including Amazon's Project Kuiper, into the local market. The Geneva-based Ecofin website quotes the Liberia Telecommunications Authority, the LTA, as saying, the move aims to boost competition, lower cost, and expand broadband to underserved areas. Amazon plans to launch its global satellite service by the end of 2025, joining Starlink, which entered Liberia earlier this year with subscriptions of $40 to $50 a month, plus $390 for equipment. Liberia currently has about 1.8 million internet users, or 32% market penetration. The Supreme Court of Liberia has been drawn into a legal showdown involving former Justice Minister Frank Musa Dean Jr. Dean has filed a bill of information challenging a ruling by civil law court judge J. Boyman Konto, who recently ordered his arrest over a disputed 53-carat diamond found in Bapulu County. Dean argues that Judge Konto acted outside the law since he was not a party to the original ownership case. He insists his early advice that the diamond belonged to government was based on findings that the mining license had expired. The high-stakes case has seen conflicting rulings, with Justice in Chambers James Zeta Wolokoli first halting Judge Konto's decision before later lifting the stay order. Dean is now asking the Supreme Court to block further actions against him and to cite the respondents for contempt. You're listening to the Bctv News Summary. In Malawi, newly sworn-in President Peter Mutharika has pledged to rebuild the nation's struggling economy and stamp out corruption. Speaking at his inauguration on Saturday, the 85-year-old former leader warned that the road to recovery will be tough, saying the honeymoon of looting government is over. Mutharika takes office amidst food and fuel shortages, high inflation, and a lack of foreign exchange. He urged international investors to partner with Malawi, not offer handouts, as the country works to recover from recent droughts and economic shocks. And finally, according to the Royce report, Anglican women bishops across Africa are celebrating the historic appointment of the Reverend Sarah Molale as the first woman Archbishop-elect of Canterbury. Mullally, a former nurse and Bishop of London, is praised by supporters as a voice for justice and unity. However, conservative African leaders, including Rwandan Archbishop Laurent Mbanda, have condemned her selection, saying it defies biblical teachings and deepens divisions over same-sex blessings within the Anglican Communion. Mullally is expected to be formally installed next year. The weather forecast for Monday, October 6 in Fishtown City, Rivers County, southeastern Liberia. Expect light rain throughout the day and a high of 79 degrees. Cloud cover will be heavy at 76% and there's a 100% chance of rain. The sun will rise at 6:17 a.m. and sunset is at 6:21 p.m., so keep that umbrella handy. The currency exchange rate is 182 Liberian dollars to $1 United States dollar. To summarize, the Liberian Bank for Development and Investment, the LBDI, has been fined 18.5 million Liberian dollars for failing to meet anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing standards. Reports say Liberia's telecom regulator is reviewing licenses to allow new satellite internet providers, including Amazon's Project Kuiper, into the local market. And Anglican women bishops across Africa are celebrating the historic appointment of the Reverend Sarah Mullally as the first woman Archbishop-elect of Canterbury. That's the Bctv news up to the minute.